Greetings, welcome back. So here is going to be my thoughts on Doctor Who Series 11, Episode 7, Kerblam! That took me about 4 or 5 tries just to say that because of these fucking hiccups. Yay, it's the episode with Lee Mackin and he's dead after about 7 minutes of screen time, but what the hell. So Kerblam, we're going back to doing another sci-fi kind of story. I've got fucking hiccups and I can't say a damn thing. So as far as I can tell, this episode's got a pretty positive reception so far. Gives me a sort of classic feeling, I suppose. It's a bit different from what we've had lately. It does go back to the more sort of traditional kind of Doctor Who story where they just stumble upon something or inciting incident happens and they just go to investigate and then we see this whole plot unfold. It was nice to see the Doctor and co adopt a undercover role to go and investigate this, what is essentially futuristic Amazon that's gone evil apparently in the future. So I'll mention some of the little references to past episodes just to get them out of the way. I like the little references. We've got the Agatha Christie and the Wasp reference, which of course references Unicorn and the Wasp. We've got the Doctor using the Venusian Aikido again, which is another reference to the Third Doctor. Of course, you use that in Ghost Monument as well. And of course, we've got the Fez. That was a nice little Fez reference. That's quite funny actually. The fact that Matt Smith ordered a Fez and like 300 years later or whatever, he finally gets it delivered to her. Well, that's what you get for doing second class post, I suppose. And then we've got the teammate robots and whatnot. They remind me a lot of the bus conductor from The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I think I mentioned this last video, but they have a similar kind of design, I think. So that was a nice little nod if that was intentional. If not, then still a nice little nod. The plot itself, well, it's good. It's quite good, actually. I suppose you could say it is sort of making a bit of a statement on the whole automated workforce thing that we seem to have going nowadays. The fact that in the future only 10% of all people are actually employed to work somewhere and the rest is all done by automated machinery and whatnot. That's a nice little thing to theme a Doctor Who story around, so, you know, I don't know if they've done it before. To my knowledge, I don't think Doctor Who's done something like this before. They might have done, given how there's just billions and billions of bits of expanded universe out there, as well as the TV episodes. But nice little, slightly less traditional kind of Doctor Who story, in a way, in terms of setting, and I don't know what I'm saying. It was a good plot, good story. I quite liked it actually. I think it was pretty blooming good. The Lee Mack being in it was just a bonus for me, even if he was perhaps a bit underused for what we would have wanted. But then again, Doctor Who's always had really small roles being filled by some actually pretty big name actors a lot of the time. There's a nice little plot twist in there with the system and the robots not actually being the villains, but the cleaner. The cleaner of all things. Charlie the cleaner wants to blow up a load of people. Seriously though, Charlie is the worst terrorist ever. He has no idea what he's fucking doing. Should have planned that out a bit more, I think, matey boy. Also, bubble wrap. Is there anything that Doctor Who is not going to teach you to fear? This is getting ridiculous now, guys. Bubble wrap! Oh my god. Yeah, that's quite funny actually, the whole bubble wrap being explosive kind of thing. Just doing what Doctor Who does best, I suppose, weaponising every single household object you can possibly think of. Now something I think has been exceptionally remarkable in this episode, even compared to the rest of the series so far, is the visuals and the music. Now, I think I said last video, well not last video, I think I said last one of these that I wasn't really noticing the music all that much in these episodes, to be honest. It was just sort of blurring into the background for me and I didn't really pick up on it. I picked up on bits here and there, but this episode, bloody Jesus Christ, the music is great. Fucking, this stands out a bloody mile, I'd say. It's very actiony. It's very actiony packedy, flat packed boxy in a factory. Get it? Because it's a retail company? No? Okay, I'll never say anything like that again. But yeah, the music was outstanding in this. There you go, that's a good word for it. I call it outstanding. The music was outstanding in this episode. And the visuals as well. Especially the whole, when Ryan Yaz and, what's his name, Charlie, the bad terrorist guy. Yeah, especially when them three are going through that whole like automated conveyor belt warehouse system thing, which strangely enough reminded me of the door system from Monsters Inc. Don't know if anyone gets that reference, I don't know. But yeah, that looked, and the majority of it's probably CGI, so yeah, but that looked bloody great. That's probably one of the highlights of this series, actually, in terms of visual effects achievement. That whole conveyor belt scene with them three all jumping around on those, you know, where it's all crisscrossing over and everything, that's to be up there with, I'd say that scene's probably up there, right next to the opening titles themselves and the theme tune, I reckon, in terms of greatest achievements this series. And I think I'm going off on a bit of a long tangent about one particular bit, so I think I'd better just move on. Yeah, okay, good, I will do that. Just give me a second to compose my thoughts on the next section. There is a slight subtle retread of arachnids in the UK, again, with the Doctor. We don't really have a solid clue what the hell her morals are supposed to be like, quite frankly. In Arachnids in the UK, for some reason she had a sort of brain fart and then decided that letting giant spiders suffocate to death is a more humane way of disposing of them than just outright shooting them dead. And there is a bit of a retread of that happening here with the Doctor saying, oh, don't be robophobic, and her not wanting to hurt any of the robots unless it's necessary. But then she's quite happy to just let thousands upon thousands of them commit suicide at the end, basically. I mean, I suppose you could say that it was kind of necessary to do that. I don't know, maybe they could have found another way around it, but I don't know, I'm probably overthinking it a bit too much. I don't think it really spoils the episode as such, that little nitpick, but I just thought it was worth mentioning it, because I think a lot of people have already, so I thought I might just jump on the bandwagon of saying the same old crap that everyone else says. Hoo-hoo, ha-ha. Again, companions in this, at least they weren't anywhere near as useless as they was in Saranja Conundrum. They've all got their own little purpose, you know, all three of them go off and do something different in the factory and uncover something, and all three of them interact with other characters. You know, Yaz with Lee Mack playing Dan, Ryan with, oh fucking what's his name, Ryan with, what's her bloody name, Kira, that's the one. Yeah, Ryan and the Doctor go with Kira, and we've got Graham sweeping up the floors with Charlie. So they all sort of uncover bits of the workings of this factory, so we sort of understand how this place works, and they all interact with three of the other side characters. That was a nice clever little thing you did there, whoever wrote this episode. I can't remember your name, sorry, I'll look it up later. Yeah, companions. Used pretty well, I reckon. I think they did a good job of that. The Doctor was great as always, I reckon. The Doctor was just fantastic in this, probably. Yeah, she was. I think she was, to be fair. She's been fantastic. Moving on. The Doctor was good. Next section. Now, obviously a running theme with this series is the villains have been underwhelming and a bit naff in places. Stim Shah from the first episode, I probably can't pronounce that right, was pretty good. The Remnants I thought were kind of a cool concept, actually. Krasko, while in himself being a regular villain, was a bit undercut. I think what he represented was probably the main focus there rather than him himself. The spiders and the American guy was kind of, didn't really have a lot of thought put into it, to be honest. Saranja Conundrum with the Pating, while I fucking adore the Pating for just being one of the cutest monsters this series has ever come up with, you can't deny it was a bit of a naff villain for something like that. And then Demons of the Punjab with Manish, some Indian bloke pretty much, and a load of other people. Again, not really much in the way of villains, but this one, yeah, Charlie isn't the best villain of all time. He's probably about on the same level as Krasko, perhaps? I don't really know, to be honest. He's just sort of average at best. What the hell, what he did behind the scenes in the episode gave us a pretty decent little 50-minute plot to enjoy, so I can't really fault him for that now, can I? So yeah, I think bottom line with this episode, pretty blooming good. I definitely score it at a 7 at least, probably if I was going to score these officially. Overall, solid episode, really good. Side characters, pretty decent. Nice little cameo from Lee, well not a cameo, nice little guest appearance from Lee Mack, even if it was for less than 10 minutes of the runtime. Doctor and companions were really good. Visually this episode is probably one of the best in recent years. Music in this episode is probably the standout from Sega Nakanola's entire work on this show thus far. This is probably his best episode in terms of music, I'd say, from my point of view. Villain was a little bit naff, but, you know, it still gave us an enjoyable plot, so I can't really fault it on that. Anyway, I think that's all I can really come up with in my little pink blobby thing in my head called the brain to say about this episode right now. So, if you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video perhaps, comment something nice or not nice if you're feeling like that, maybe. I can take it, come on, come on. Come on, rinse me out, internet! Please don't, I really don't take criticism that well. I cry in bed every night at the bad comments I get. No, I don't. Well, hopefully this video was watchable, and remember, if you want it, kerblam it! That went a lot better in my head than what it probably turned out like. See you tomorrow! Probably.